and then I'm just gone. And the next thing I know, I'm getting out of a cab and waiting at my apartment, and Jim O'Grady came over to help me walk into my apartment, like as a sort of human crutch, which I'm endlessly grateful for, and stuck around. And then there's me and my mom and Jim just sitting there having tea at like 11 o'clock on a Friday night, like it's a totally normal thing to do. This is how we spend Friday nights at my apartment in Brooklyn. And then, you know, he gets up and goes, and my mom goes to sleep. And I take my pain medication for the night, and I think I'm going to go to sleep too. But then as soon as my mom falls asleep, at that darkness, the bird comes back and it just flies up and it sits right on my chest and it just looks at me. And it says, look, you're gonna be fine, don't worry. All the cancer is gone, but there's this other thing. They cut something out of you while they were in there that's never gonna come back. And you're never gonna be the person you were. You gotta deal with that. But you don't have cancer, so it's okay. And if you'll excuse me, I'd like to climb inside you now. And it just forces its way into my mouth. And I just feel this huge, thick, greasy lump in my throat. And I'm lying there just crying, really, really silently, so I don't wake up my mom. And I'm there just looking at the air and the little sparks that you see when you're looking at the night for at least 4 hours. And I realized the only thing to do to get that bird to shut the fuck up is double up on the pain meds and sneak my roommate's tequila to kickstart it all. And it works awesome. I was gone for about 10 hours, and I got up and I sort of felt better. And then, you know, all of this other nice stuff happened too. Tons of great friends came over. My BlackBerry is like this complicated rosary that I can thumb through in waiting rooms, because a lot of people sent me a lot of really nice messages, all of which meant a lot to me. But every time I was alone, the bird came back. And I remember I was in my room. I had just been out. It started coming back in the morning. Sorry, I'm spacing a little bit. I remember I was sitting in my room at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'd taken a sick day, because what good is getting cancer if you can't call out of work when you fucking don't want to? And so I was sitting there in my bed at like 11 o'clock in the morning, eating chocolate ice cream in my sweatpants. It's embarrassing to even have those. And I'm watching Cheers, and the bird just real quick flies in. And it's I don't even know how to fight. It's just a few black feathers and it's in. And the high notes in the Cheers theme song are like the saddest shit in the world. And I begin to just cry, because I'm like, you know, I just need somebody to know my name right now. Really. And then I have this dissociative moment where I'm looking at myself as a grown-ass man, 33 years old, sitting in my bed, crying, eating chocolate ice cream and listening to Cheers, and I was like, I have a real problem. I have a serious problem right now. And it turns out that my next doctor visit, my testosterone was in like eat, pray, love territory. It's like 0. It could have been, it was Cheers, but it could have been Sex in the City. I'm just sitting there, and the doctor pulls out this huge syringe, jams it into my ass, and jacks me full of artificial testosterone. And I'm not lying here. 6 hours later, I am drinking martinis with one hand and getting a personal best score at Big Buck Hunter with the other. I was like, this shit is awesome! Bring it on! You know, and I feel back for once. And then I go home, and I leave my friends, and I go home, and I say, hey, good night, yeah, I'm gonna be good. And I lie there in bed, because I'm wasted for the first time, and I have like no tolerance, so it feels great. And the bird is there in the bathroom, and it says, you know what? I hope you weren't thinking that this is going to be normal for you. You're going to have to derive everything that feels normal from shots from now on. And without these, you're just going to sort of become this weeping lump that you've gotten used to being. So enjoy yourself when you get them, but just be ready for it when they wear off, okay? And I'll just sort of say, look, do you want to get in here or not? Shut up. So I just open my mouth, in climbs the bird, in go the pills, in go the booze, out I go. My girlfriend is a cancer survivor too, and she's been wonderfully supportive and understanding through all of this, which is good because I really fucked up a date we were going to have. She was all excited to go to Pride in DC, and we were going to see all these drag queens perform, and RuPaul was going to play, and I was like, I'm not into this, but I'm going to suck it up and get into it for Maggie, because that's her favorite thing, and she's just excited and bouncing around, and then, the bird's in my mouth again. I walked into the bathroom, and I think I pissed out my last drop of happiness for the day at 11 o'clock in the morning, and there it is. And I was just a wreck all day, and there's tears falling out of my sunglasses, and I can't really explain why. I have to meet her friends and be this thing, and she's like, it's okay, you'll be fine, don't worry. But I felt terrible for being the anchor around this day she'd been looking forward to, And I just couldn't pull my shit together. And then this thing happened, where I'm in cancer ward to get a follow-up CAT scan, and I'm drinking a bottle of Crystal Light laced with radioactive dye, and just marinating the tissues and reading the New Yorker, and this couple comes in. And the guy is straight out of Bonfire of the Vanities. He's just kind of he just walks like an asshole, you know what I mean? His hair is going gray in a very asshole pattern. I can't describe what it is. And I'm standing here in front of you in a suit, and I'm saying, this guy's a fucking suit, for real. And he's the entire financial problem, just walks in and sits down in front of me. And the woman he's with, you can tell, was gorgeous. She has these brilliant, deep, stunning eyes, and her hair is very perfectly cut and streaked and everything. And you could tell she was a real knockout before her cancer hit her and turned her into sort of this sack of antlers in a robe. And they sit down right in front of the door to the mammography unit, and they begin fighting like ancient Romans fought. It is incredible. She just turns to him and says, I don't even know why you come to these things anymore, because you always fall asleep. And he's like, I fell asleep last time because you fell asleep for 5 minutes. She said, no, I shut my eyes for 7 minutes, and then you're just gone. And he says, well, I'm sorry, I just want to be there with you. And she goes, yeah, you just want to be with me so bad that you know that when I go to the apartment in Italy, because I need time to think, I'm thinking about you, and you come and you stay with me. And I can't think for myself when you're around, so you bring me back to New York. And he interjects, he says, are you saying I brought you back to New York against your will? And she says, no, I'm not. Well, sort of. Because we just need to think about our problems, and I'm sick of your drugs, and I'm sick of the lying, and it's obvious this guy has a massive drug problem, and he's playing it cool right now, but people don't act that crazy unless they've been inspired, even if they are crazy, and she is. And he says, well, look, I have a commitment to sobriety now. I'm working on it. She goes, oh, your commitment to sobriety. It's been 2 weeks. That's not a commitment. That's a hobby. She's like, so now you're talking about you're going to go off to the place in France, and you're going to be in France for a while, and fuck knows what kind of drunks you're going to find in France. As opposed to the clean existence that he's probably been living in New York City, for a long time. And he says, well, look, I don't think this is working. We've been in counseling, they are breaking up in the cancer ward while I'm drinking my radioactive drink and just watching this and laying it down. And finally she says, fuck you, I don't need this anymore, I'm leaving you right now, and gets up and triumphantly stomps into the mammography ward and throws the door shut, and it's just blam. It's just sitting there going, oh. And 30 seconds later, the nurse walks her right back out and undoes her awesome exit and says, we're not ready for you, just sit down. Drink the drink, okay? It takes time. And they're just sitting there stewing, and I thought, oh my God, this is awesome. These people have the most acute case of money poisoning I have ever seen in my life. And there's no chemo or radiation that's gonna help that. All I got's a little cancer. I'm gonna be fine. That Indian guy was right. I don't have this, I got that, I got Jim, I got my girlfriend. I'm gonna be okay. And for the first time, that bird just lifted up, and I felt it just flap away, and it stayed gone for a couple days. Thanks.
Jeff Simmermon, everyone. Jeff also runs a fantastic blog called IamNotLying.com. which is full of brilliant shit, including some of Jeff's sort of reportage on the stuff he's been through.